everybody. Welcome to Phonogenics 101. I'm with my family here, the Stevie Nicks Fleetwood Mac family. We did all the Stevie Nicks albums, and now we are going through the golden era of Fleetwood Mac albums. We started with the White Album, and we're working our way through Say You Will. Thank you to my Patreon subscribers for sticking by me, especially when my Zoom renewal is due in a week. I'm like, ooh, thanks. Good thing I have Patreon subscribers. And then thanks to the YouTube subscribers, even though my channel was a little quiet with my Bell's palsy, people are still subscribing and watching. So that is awesome. I think everybody here has been introduced before, so I would imagine people who watch these know y'all already. But yeah. Oh, Jim's got something to say.
At Bonnaroo, Stevie said, she referred to Steve. She said Stevie 101. So that's it popped in my head. Said, is she watching this stuff? I'm like,
oh no.
No. Everything is amazing. Every track.
I gave Street Angel like 9 stars, so that's all I gotta say. Didn't I, or 10 or something?
She referred to like meeting up again and we'll make this Stevie 101. And then maybe
Hi Stevie.
Hello.
If you're watching us, we love you, and I'm gonna see you in October in Tampa, Florida.
Don't get the cough.
Hi, Jeremy.
All right. Tonight we're gonna talk about the 1982 album Mirage from Fleetwood Mac. I remember being a kid. I was 7 years old when this came out, so we went to Kmart and Hills, were the department stores in my little hometown. I remember this record being there, and I thought it was called Marriage. And I didn't realize it's called Mirage till like 5 years later. Like I always thought it's called Marriage, which that would be a good name for a Fleetwood Mac album. But we have a picture of Lindsay, Christine, and Stevie. It's a painting, right? It's a picture / painting. I don't know. And then
is that where they paint over the photograph?
Yeah, paint over the photograph. And then on the inside they have that other weird painting. Is it even in the CD? No, it's not in the CD.
It's Lindsay did that.
Yeah. I thought it was Nancy Buckingham that did that painting.
I was watching something yesterday and they said that it should be here in my crap.
Well, here's the alternate Mirage from Record Store Day. So I love those Record Store Day releases. And then, of course, the great box set that came out a few years ago with the live stuff and some B-sides and demos and stuff. So that was my introduction to Mirage. Was going to Kmart on Route 60 in Fredonia, New York. Route 60.
Did you find it?
Oh, there it is. There's that painting.
And I got some glare on it, but
cool.
So that's not by Lindsay?
It might be. I could be totally wrong.
Oh, me too.
That's what I heard. I was watching some stuff, so I didn't read it. Someone said it was Lindsay painted that. It's
well, let's look. Let's look on Discogs. So while I'm doing that, what was your guys' introduction to the Mirage album? Whether it was when it came out or you discovered it later. Let's start with Jim. We'll go in order of my titles.
Okay. It's the story, or it's I have a little story about Love in Store. I was taking hay out to the cattle on a farm, and I think I was driving or I was in the back of the pickup pitching hay out of the back. I would pitch the hay out of the back of the pickup, and the cows would come later and search around and find the hay. I would get everything done before dark and just, and get that wrapped up. And this came on, and I said, well, I know these guys. I just like, yeah, I just know them. It's just like, it's like so familiar. And it was the first time hearing it through. And it was like, that's that band,
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of my introduction to Mirage that way.
Cool. And it was Lindsay Buckingham that did the painting. I just found it. So, Jim, you won the Family Feud of Fleetwood Mac.
Okay.
10 points to Jim.
Yeah. Jim, did you have anything else, or can I move on to Steven?
That was pretty much it for
okay.
it was probably when it was released. Probably, I think it was in the fall of '82. At that point,
June 18th.
Oh, okay.
When that was released, the song or the album?
For me, now I'm on the board.
Survey says, hey, and you know, I think everyone watching this knows already, because I can't imagine anyone but a big Fleetwood Mac fan will watch this. But just in case you're not a huge Fleetwood Mac fan, this was the follow-up album to Tusk, which was a very experimental 2-record, very artsy set. So I think the motivation of this band was to be more commercial, and it's a safer album. So there's just a little context. I'll give like $10 to anyone that's watching this that didn't know that already. Steven, what's your introduction to Mirage?
I don't remember when I got it, but I do know that it was my second Fleetwood Mac album after Tango in the Night. So, and I do remember it sounded a little bit more contemporary than a few of the tracks I had heard off of Rumors and Fleetwood Mac. Just because it was really a different sound in the mid 80s when I got into them. When their stuff was big in the 70s. That's all I really remember about getting the album.
And we got to remember, 1982 what was out in 1982? Betty Davis Eyes was 81. That's when all the new wave was starting to come out and stuff, right?
The Men at Work.
Men at Work. Yep, Men at Work. Laura Branigan. Madonna wasn't out yet. Blondie's last album was coming out that year. So it's kind of like the real end of the 70s in a weird way. Didn't Linda Ronstadt have Get Closer? And that was her last pop album before she did the orchestra stuff. Joni Mitchell had Wild Things Run Fast in 82. So it was a really interesting year for the 70s rockers coming into the 80s.
Was Pat Benatar doing something then too? She was hot still.
Pat Benatar's Get Nervous came out in 82, which is a great album.
Johnson.
All right, Nathan, what's your introduction to Mirage?
Oh, I've learned it song by song. I had never, I'm a millennial fan, so I was around the release. So I've learned it as, song by song.
Cool. Which is perfect for tonight, because we're going to talk about it song by song. Okay, Alicia.
Okay, I'm over here trying to think. It's.
Can't hear.
I know I probably bought the album a couple years ago, but it's besides the Stevie songs off of this, I really haven't listened to it until I guess a month ago. Really listened through it. Of course, you got the one or two songs like "Hold Me" and "Love in Store" that are off the greatest hits records, but by and large, or Gypsy, of course, that's on the greatest hits. But by and large, this is another record that I had to kind of listen to and all new. So yeah.
Cool. And last but not least, our friend Roland. What's your initial thoughts on Mirage?
This is the second record from Fleetwood Mac that I bought when I got into Stevie Nicks. I love the record, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to talking about the record.
Nice shirt.
Thank you.
I just noticed that.
And we also have to take note that Stevie Nicks was coming off her Belladonna when she did this album. So she had a really big first taste of solo success. Lindsey Buckingham had a hit with Law and Order and Trouble. And then Mick Fleetwood had released The Visitor, his solo album. So I feel like a lot of them didn't seem like they really wanted to go back into the studio and be together, but they had a contract to fulfill. They went out to a chateau in France. If you don't feel like reading the pages of liner notes, I'll sum it up in one sentence. Stevie Nicks said there's no ice cubes.
That's it.
I think that chateau is worth talking about. I don't quite remember how to say the name. The chateau.
Chateau. Wasn't it rainy and drafty and
Héroville or something like that?
Sorry, go ahead.
Héroville or some place like that. The Honky Chateau.
Right. Elton John called it the Honky Tonk Chateau, didn't he?
Oh, right. Yeah, that's
good enough for Elton. I guess it's good enough.
Did you guys all read Mick Fleetwood's first biography?
Oh, I did. Yeah.
I remember that where he said Stevie came riding up in the horse.
Oh, yeah. They went a horse riding together.
When I get this album.
What, Steven? I don't know about that. What?
I don't remember the story that well. I just remember it was like foggy out, and Stevie Nicks came riding up in the horse, and he just said, "Oh, I know this is going to be something really romantic and special." Something like that. It's been a long time since I read the book.
And that's a good segue to mention that right after this album, Stevie Nicks went into her very romantic period of the Wild Heart.
Yeah.
So I guess the romance didn't happen until a year later.
Supposedly that chateau was haunted, right? There's that great Rolling Stone article about and the doors would open. And
the doors will fly open, yeah.
And that's where if anyone falls, the verses for that were
maybe. Yeah.
From,
right? You know those doors opening.
That's me.
You know the doors opening and closing. It was Christopher Nicks. Can I do the artwork?
Right.
Back to the man.
Okay. Well, Mirage. The album opens just like Tusk did with a Christine McVie song. And I will say, I love Love in Store. I always loved this song from when I was a kid. One of the signatures of this album is Lindsay's production of the very subtle harmonies in the background. There's a lot of kind of 50s doo-wop-y harmonies. And I just think Love in Store is such a, it's just a feel-good song. It does whatever McVie does, this is her doing what she does best, in my opinion. It's clearly we're not Tusk. It's a very safe song, but I don't know. It's a
great opening track.
It's a great opening track.
The album off very well, and it was a single. It went into the top 20, I believe.
Yeah.
And they did it live, which is great.
And
it's on the Mirage tour video.
In Stevie Nicks' Wild Heart dressing room video, she sings a couple lines of this before she goes into.
Yeah. So she had access to the tapes before.
Yeah, they must have been working on the mixes of Mirage. So I don't have.
But that was during the Belladonna photo shoot.
Right.
So she really got those tracks ahead of time because that was still 81.
Yeah, they must have been working on it.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead, Jim. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they send out tapes and see what's going. They're very good about and the Tom Petty thing. Stevie got in trouble for their tapes flying around and projects.
Now, I think we should mention that Christine McVie was dealing with a lot of heartbreak during this album because she's dating Dennis Wilson and he had drowned, correct?
Wilson, yeah.
So I feel like it was kind of a dark time for people of Fleetwood Mac, and they really didn't want to be around each other. They wanted to be off doing their solo stuff.
It's kind of a reflective album and melancholy in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
There's not much upbeat. There's upbeat music, but the lyrical tone it's pretty melancholy and reflective.
I feel like upbeat in Fleetwood Mac, you don't get too upbeat in Fleetwood Mac, no matter.
Well,
there's always like that hint of melancholy.
And Love in Store really exemplifies that perfectly because it's such an upbeat, forward, major chord type of song, just like Monday Morning. Especially as an opener, I think they're really aligned. But it's so upbeat, and yet the singer, or the first person in the song who's saying "Never take your love away," etc., etc.
I'm begging you, baby.
That really speaks to their uncertainty about the relationship and their uncertainty in their self, that love could just be taken away, right?
Yeah.
And that really hangs with, like Jim was just saying, with the album, it's a downbeat in terms of the lyrics and the larger theme.
Do you know what I love about Love in Store? Are the damn Stevie Nicks harmonies. Because he had them really deep in the mix, but she just has that texture that is just so, especially on this album, those Stevie harmonies, they're deep in the mix, but they're so effective, and they're almost like a tapestry. I love the mix of the vocals on Love in Store.
That's probably the most that Stevie's worked with Christine on an album, being a part of one of her songs.
Right. Does anyone else have anything to say about Love in Store?
I'm going to run through. It's a awesome, great opening track, breezy pop song. It has some retro textures to it, and that's kind of his album too. And shimmering vocals, great guitar work, which is pretty much his album. A lot of great guitar work. Christine's vocal is very prominent in the mix. It's very out front. And the Stevie harmonies are just terrific. At the end there, the way she takes the whole fade out herself, pretty much. There might be a little bit of harmony with that, but that was pretty much her. So that was it.
I agree.
And it's and even better live. Great live.
Yeah, this is a great song. I'm a huge McGee fan, so when she does it good, she does it real good stranger.
It's really great live. The harmonies and the playing on it is at least on that that famous tour or the famous at the LA show.
I feel like this is like the last hurrah of yacht rock a little bit, like 82. Like when my friends do a yacht rock night, I feel like Love and Store could be played there. It wouldn't be too out of place.
Let's do a yacht rock night, huh?
Oh yeah, in Tampa, the Sunset Sundays, baby.
Oh shit.
DJ Steph Money, my friend, giving a shout out.
And this was the last tour of Lindsay too, 82.
Yeah.
You wouldn't come back until the dance.
No, Lindsay was there for Tango.
No,
I mean on stage.
Oh, on stage. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So this is the final, all five of them together for a very long time.
Yeah.
That was that big fight and before they went on the road for Tango in the Night.
Yeah.
Coming next month, the fight in the parking lot. Alicia, are you in ear listening distance? Do you have anything to say about Love and Store before we move on?
I mean, I like it. I mean, I will be honest, I listened to this record once, and this is one that stuck out to me. I guess it's one of the highlights. Yes.
I think so.
I just don't have much to say. So.
I mean, I think there's tons to say about this song. It's just a feel-good Christine McVie song.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
You didn't do your homework.
Oh.
You didn't do all your homework on this one.
She'll come back hard and strong for Tingle in the Night.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Everybody,
I can just leave.
No, don't leave. Don't be Lindsey Buckingham.
I noticed it's a co-write with Jim Record, who was Sarah Fleetwood's first husband.
I had to let my cat in. I'm sorry. All right. Are we done? Okay, Love and Store. We're going to do the thumbs up, sideways, or down.
Yes, definitely.
Thumbs up.
Yes.
Good.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up from everybody.
Yeah.
I love it when we all agree. The last Joni Mitchell album we did, it was always everyone thumbs up and I just thumbs down like every song. It did not go over well.
Ooh.
Randy Carlisle's probably casting a spell on me somewhere. Okay, next. Can't Go Back. The instrumental of this song was also played in the dressing room, which Stevie Nicks looped the introduction and sang Wild Heart over it, which is an iconic Stevie Nicks moment. But yes.
It's the Stevie Nicks that voiceover, or when she just improvised, that was spontaneous. That was I don't think that was ever. I think she just did that.
Oh yeah, she was just hanging out
because and that's the passion there, and the talent. I mean, the way their enunciation, they're being free and just having fun and just winging it. And that was
brother. Amen.
I came in, I interrupted this has more views than Fleetwood Mac has a site where they have all their songs.
Yeah.
It has more views than, Can't Go Back on the Fleetwood Mac YouTube.
Oh, page. The Wild Heart does? The Wild Heart?
It's got 600,000 and some, and that other, and the Can't Go Back's got like 300.
No, don't tell Lindsay.
Which is good. So it's kind of ironic and kind of irony there, and
that Wild Heart version has been covered by other bands. I mean, if they're paying Stevie Nicks royalties, they should be giving half to Lindsay because he wrote the music for it.
Oh, that's right. I have another point. Did Stevie actually write Wild Heart while listening to that, or is that just kind of thrown in?
I think she just threw it in. I would imagine she just had the tape there, and
Yeah.
but who knows? I mean, we don't know.
Does the star shine? How does a cloud move across the sky? You know, I don't know. I figure she probably had the dang the melody in her head from Lindsay's guitar riff. Probably makes tapes like Campbell does to some extent, and they sit around in the studio for extended hours.
Right.
They hear him noodling through his latest progression or whatever, and the melody gets in your head, and it just evolves into something else. It's probably, you know, yes, there is a possibility I don't know why this wasn't questioned, but here I am. There is a possibility that she sat down with the headphones on and wrote the things that can't go back, but I think it's more likely that it just sort of came, you know?
You know what? I've never entertained the possibility that maybe she was just improvising and making up those lyrics right then on the spot over that music.
Yeah.
No, I think that already, Wild Heart was written as a poem at least. And I don't know, that was something she was doing. With that, but it looks really fresh and spontaneous. She had to kind of pause at points because the melodies didn't fit the music. You know, there were some pauses there, and then someone on the YouTube comments, they said a phone rang and it matched in with the somehow.
They must have had the stuff turned up so high that you can't, because you don't hear that in any of the videos that are available. You know, the phone ringing, but I guess it's possible. I know what you're talking about, but I thought it was just because she was waiting for it to, you know, they had gone too fast with their singing. They were waiting for it to catch back up to the beat, right?
Yeah. I have to listen to it again, but there's a couple instances where people said they like the phone rings. I'm
gonna steer our ship back to Mirage. Back to Mirage.
Thank you.
Can't go back. Lindsey Buckingham.
I love it. I think it must be about Stevie, right?
It's got to be about Stevie
or Carol Ann Harris.
Yeah.
You know.
I like when he says a song awakens something else, but the fact is.
Yeah, that's points to Stevie, you know, because that's their line of work. So
I feel like this is one of the songs that is like the template of what his solo albums would sound like forever. After that,
right.
Like his solo albums didn't sound like the stuff on Rumors or even Tusk, really. But I feel like his solo music all sounds like Can't Go Back in Book of Love or Eyes of the World.
I think we can all agree with. I think some magazine, Rolling Stone, you all have probably remember reading this when I say it, but we can all agree with the analysis that it's very music boxy. Sounds like
right? Mm-hmm.
I love it. I do love this song.
I love it.
She was just a dream maker, dreamer size. That sounds very Stevie Nicks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yes, I do.
Probably.
So he went from never going back again to he can't go back.
Yeah.
Very good.
Wasn't that deep? I really earned my money tonight. Okay, Jim.
There's some percussion there in it, really a clicky thing.
Oh yeah.
Is that another shoebox or another chair or something? You know, it's not really a traditional.
It's the ghost at the chateau.
Tap, 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 tap.
Yeah, there's a lot of that's. I mean, Lindsey knows how to produce some sounds, and he's really in love with that friggin' snare at times.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's not a bad thing. It has a Buddy Holly feel to it, you know, 50s retro.
There's a lot of 50s on this album,
and it's a lot. It could have fit right on Law and Order, his solo record.
I don't know about that. I think it would have felt a little out of place.
Maybe really?
Yeah, I do. I think it would have felt a little out of place.
I think it would have fit on Out of the Cradle.
But I do maybe more so out of, or Split the Difference or something.
Yeah.
But I do want to give Jim 5 points for the Buddy Holly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mick lays down a great drum track, or it was a loop or something, but still, it was a great. And it's a real good song lyrically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a really. It's got some kind of it's up front and there's a little mystery. There's some things like when Dreamer of Sighs shadow on the one that used to cry. What does that exactly mean? Is it vague or is it like she just threw some words in? But they must mean something. Lindsey's pretty literal. I mean, he picks these words. He usually writes the melody or does a, does a guitar riff, and then he puts the words in later.
It'd be funny if someone questioned his lyrics and he said, "No one told Bob Dylan how to write a song." All right, can't go back. Does anyone else have anything to say about this one? I give it a thumbs up.
Yeah.
It's Steven coming in with the sideways.
No, I don't love it. I think it's a good song.
Okay.
Next, a song that was around from the Buckingham Nicks days, correct?
Right.
Yeah. Designs of Love back then.
It was originally called Designs of Love. It was more of an acoustic song. It had a country feel. The production they went with on this version is really interesting. It took a while to grow on me. It's kind of country. It's called That's All Right on the album. What an interesting song. Of all the songs in Stevie's vault, I think it's interesting she chose this for this album.
It's record.
It
fit with this. This sounds really cohesive.
Yeah. I love this song. I love it.
I love it.
Tight, bro. Tight.
The harmonies in this are amazing.
Yeah.
I love this song. I think Stevie should put out a greatest hits country record. This could be part of it. She has enough country songs for a whole album.
Pictures of her. She loved to wear a cowboy hat, but she should.
Does that mean we have to listen to Rose Garden again, though?
Yes, you do.
That's what that means, dude. Yes, that's part of it. I think they should have kept the title Designs of Love.
Oh, yeah. That's all right.
Yeah, I like Designs of Love better. Maybe there's too many love in titles songs in this record. They have to change it.
Or maybe it was never called Designs of Love and fans just
No, that was some fan made it up when it was circling around the as cassettes back then. Someone made it up.
Because the songs existed, but Stevie knew what she actually called it, right?
Yeah, we didn't know.
Well, this is another song. I don't have tons to say about it, but a lot of these songs I love driving and just singing along to them. So when I was driving to work this morning, I was singing my heart out to That's All Right.
Yeah, I do too. It's a great sing-along song.
Oh, Alicia, do you know That's All Right at all?
Unmute her.
Yeah.
What do you think of this song?
That's All Right. It's a good song. Okay, let me put it this way. I was kind of disappointed with Stevie on this record. I guess because Tusk was so strong, her selection of songs there.
Yeah.
That has a lot to do with, I think this is why I didn't get into this record, is because
just three songs.
All the songwriters were starting their solo careers, and so they started, it feels like, pulling back some of their best songs. And their solo stuff. So, I mean, this is a good song. Don't get me wrong. It's a solid song. But I would almost put it with Talk to Me in her solo career. She has a good vocal. It's good music. If she handed it to a country artist, I think it would have gone in the top 10. It's well written. It's just...
It's not epic at all.
No, it's not. And after what she delivered on Tusk, and I guess because I'm somebody who's picked up this record 40 years later, knowing that she had Belle Fleur in the vault, she had Planets of the Universe, knowing that she had all these other songs that are just...
She had Damn Smile at You for this album. Like, it could have been on this album.
Yes. I mean, and that's what I caught myself the last 2 weeks. I was listening to her outtakes, If You Were My Love and Smile at You more than, I mean, it's just, it kind of tells you where this record was. It seems like this was a paint by numbers by Fleetwood Mac. And I think a lot of that had to do with Tusk not selling well.
I kind of grouped this song with I Don't Want to Know, like a breezy, feel good, short song that is really fun to sing along to. I love it.
So, sorry, that's kind of where and I feel like because of that, they kind of limit Buckingham, which I think that's where that secret ingredient is him being a little bit more experimentative,
right,
on the engineering side. And I think that's what pulled me in with Tusk. And I was actually more wanting to go and listen to Tango. And I was like, no, we got to focus on.
I know. I can't wait
I love
for
the raindrop synthesizer he adds to this song. You guys know what I'm talking about? Dude, that's all right. It's in the background. It's like ploop, plop, goes all through the whole song. It's really cool.
You're right. It's way back in the mix, though, right?
Yeah, that gives it a little, takes it just a little bit out of the country,
and a little bit, tiny bit into the '80s, right?
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, I would like a different mix of this song.
Yeah, the mix is just a little weird.
Brilliant song. Yeah, it's a little muddy, I think, but I love this song. I give it 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, Alicia.
And well, since you guys were all saying the doo-wop and 50s stuff, and I did recognize that as I listened to this that one time, and it made me ask this question because I was born in the 80s, but I know in the 80s it was really big. You had Billy Joel doing all of his like Uptown Girl.
Yeah, Innocent Man.
Yeah, that whole album he almost had as a tribute to 60s. And then you also had Phil Collins doing a lot of
yeah.
So
It's their peers.
Huh?
It's who they looked up to growing up.
Yeah, it is. And it's interesting to see that this is another record to kind of add to the list, I guess, as me going through. It almost seems like that was somewhat of like a renaissance or a throwback.
Well, the Stray Cats were really
Stray Cats were
remember
huge.
them? Yeah.
And there's a lot of like Adam Ant had a lot of this rockabilly stuff too. So
yeah,
there was a lot on.
I think the Stray Cats did it best.
Yeah.
They were really cool.
Rock this town.
Yeah.
It's just some good stuff.
Does anyone else have anything to say about That's All Right, Jim? Oh,
yeah. It's a very country song. It fits on the album, and I listened to like the original demo. Stevie's really a sad vocal on it. This is not that she's not feeling anything. She just does a good vocal on this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she sings it not necessarily like a cover, but she sings it well.
Yeah.
And she does nearly all, if not all, the vocals. Pretty much, I don't hear much harmonies at all on it. It's other than she harmonized with herself a lot.
Right. If they are, they're deep in the mix.
And this could have been a single somewhere, but it's not.
To Alicia's point.
But it's a solid song. I mean, it's that Buckingham era that had a lot of material.
Yeah, they sure did.
Yeah,
it's like a top 3 favorite Stevie Nicks song for me.
That's All Right is?
Love this song. Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
I think it's
awesome.
brilliant.
I can't argue that.
About this song.
Leave my head. Like all this time, that song stays in my head. Till a couple of weeks go by, I'll be singing it when I'm taking out the trash or something. It's all right.
I like what she's saying. I hope you find a love. That's all right. Like she's like, whatever.
What I like about the song, it's simple and direct. There are no mystical lyrics. She doesn't need to have those like dreams and gypsies kind of words all the time. It's simple, direct. It reminds me of If You Ever Did Believe, that kind of song where just straightforward lyrics, country.
Do you guys put this in the same group as For What It's Worth? Because I do a tiny bit.
I think
that country
together with that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, That's All Right. I give it a thumbs up.
Yes, definitely.
Thumbs up.
Love the song.
I give it 2.
I'll give it 2. What the hell?
All right.
I don't even remember what song's next.
That's 9. That's pretty good.
Book of Love.
Book of Love. We're back to the 50s with Lindsey Buckingham. He's doo-wopping, lots of harmonies. I feel like Book of Love could have gone on Law and Order. There's a lot of stuff on Law and Order that really had that doo-woppy kind of thing.
Yeah, that's just.
I don't know about that. On Law and Order by Lizzie Buckingham.
Yeah.
There wasn't too much doo-woppy stuff on there.
That September song.
Huh?
He had that September song that was from the 50s.
Yeah, there was that one. That one.
Trouble. they had the same kind of production value, I feel like.
All right.
I don't even remember this song.
All right. I'm sorry. I won't.
Do you feel this could have been a single? Because Lindsay really didn't have a single on this record except for "Oh Diane," which was in England for some weird reason.
So I feel like "Eyes of the World" would be the better Lindsay single.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Well, to me, this seems like a continuation of Love in Store. When
Yeah.
I heard this, it almost felt like those two songs could have been together. It just, I don't know.
Song are we on?
Jeremy, can you sing a little of it?
Tell me who wrote the book of love.
Continuation
Is it
of Love and Store.
somebody?
Yeah, I like that. I agree.
It sounded good. I don't remember the song.
Dun, dun, tell me.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of he has a lot of harmonies.
I
Yeah.
thought it was interesting. As I listened to this album this afternoon, I thought it was interesting that, I think this song in particular would be, 40 years ago, they were selling records to kids, to junior high schoolers and high schoolers, right? And college kids, primarily, right? Certainly a younger demographic than would buy their stuff now. Or more largely a young demographic, however you want to say that. But it's like this song in particular, the part where he says, "She wants me to be your friend, but I'm lonely," is completely relatable. But boy, when you're 12, wouldn't you have just grabbed onto that and been like, "Oh yeah, this guy gets it,"
I'm grabbing onto that at 47,
in
Nathan.
1982 to a young person, to a young guy in shop class or whatever.
I'm grabbing onto this at 47. So.
Well, exactly, and that's what.
And I am from the 50s.
But I mean, on its face, it is very accessible, even to that young of an audience. Which is really why they're so good, or whatever.
I think we need to mention with Lindsay's doo-woppy 50s thing. It was shortly after this that he did the National Lampoon songs, right? The Holiday Road.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. That's when it seemed to me.
Song of all time for him. Yeah.
And he had another song on the soundtrack that was really good. That was actually on Family Guy. I'm like, this sounds like Lindsey Buckingham. And I realized it was this other song from National Lampoon. It was really good.
What other song from National Lampoon?
He had two songs.
Holiday Road and what's the other one?
I don't remember the name of it, but it's on Family Guy. I think it's on his box set that he came out with a couple years ago with all his solar stuff.
Okay. On Back to the Future too.
Does anyone else have anything to say about Book of Love?
Yeah, it's a very country feel to it, and it's melancholy like a lot of the songs on this album. And I think it's a lot like Law and Order. Maybe not exactly some mood or reflective. There's a lot of reflection on Law and Order. Kind of getting away from the craziness and hiding away, and musically and lyrically, and it's pretty good. Well produced. Just a great vocals. Just really, really, really clean sounding. It's a really good little song.
His other song was called "Dancing Across the USA." From
that's it. That's it. Yeah, that's it.
And that's also very 50s and good. It's a really great song. I like this era of Lindsay. He had some good songs. Does anyone else have anything to say about the song? Steven doesn't even remember the damn song.
I'm sorry.
Thumbs up. I give it thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
All right.
A thumbs up. Yeah.
All right. Does anyone need a bathroom break before Jim talks about Gypsy? No.
Yes, this is book of notes already.
I'll take one.
Cocaine break.
Gypsy was a song recorded for Belladonna, and the Belladonna version does not have the magic. Lindsey Buckingham really did the magic on this song. And the original song was written before her friend Robin passed away, so it did kind of get an element of melancholy and some additional lyrics in the Mirage version. I consider Gypsy a Stevie Nicks masterpiece. Of course, the video was huge on MTV. It was a huge hit. I still love Gypsy. The only bad thing I had to say about Gypsy is when she sang it in the 21st century or 20th fucking 4-karat gold. The hey, hey, baby.
Hey, baby.
Hey,
Yeah,
baby.
waving to her Gypsy.
Like, that is the cringiest moment in my life. Like, even the cringiest thing ever. Stevie, if you're watching this.
You freaking love it.
Stevie, stop. Look at my mouth.
I'm gonna have to look at the Bonnaroo tape again and see if she did that.
If she does that in Tampa, I'm gonna get right in my car and leave. I'm gonna be like, oh, I can't take it.
In a concert video, they crank up the audience cheering when she does this, which is silly.
You know that was dubbed in. That was
it's totally dubbed.
Every show I've been when she does that, the audience does not even react at all to that line.
Yeah.
Oh, but that minor gripe aside, Gypsy is such a good song. Which she's told the story how it was written about when she was sleeping on the floor in San Francisco, but I can really relate to this song. Oh, the longer version that came out on the box set, the chain box set, amazing.
The definitive version.
I think it's, I'm sorry, I just think it's worth throwing out there that the ways, I think, and I just want to get on the defense on that a little bit because
Nathan, I'm not allowing you to defend that on my
podcast.
It's about
seeing your Gypsy and not letting it fucking upend your whole life, and you see her and you say, hey, how you doing? Because
you Joey Tribbiani, how you doing to your Gypsy?
Okay, you're in the square below me, Nathan, so I'm gonna puke right now.
No. Okay, I'm gonna say one thing, then Jim, your monologue.
Okay.
I'm waiting for the Gypsy, but I have one more thing to say. If she didn't dub in the audience reaction, I think I would have liked the "Hey Hey Baby" better. I'm like, you're not fooling me with that applause that you dubbed in right there. Okay, Jim's got some things to say.
Okay, my brother sent me these MTV tapes, and I would just play them, and there were no commercials in them. It's just all the videos. Probably they were on beta tapes, and I think there was a good 5 tapes, and he would put videos on the end of movies he would send up, just some pretty crappy movies, some good ones, but and then I played those, and then I was seeing Stand Back a good 3, 4, 5 times, and I was like I was getting on the Stevie train. That's just Stand Back would just give me kind of this high, get me really it's, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's just, just feeling high and alive and just spirited and just having some energy. And I was, I when I first saw Stand Back the first time, I was watching this woman singing, and I'm going through the story again, but I recognized that voice, and it popped in my head. That's Fleetwood Mac. And then, I kind of put that aside, but I was enjoying the Stevie stuff, and seeing this again and again. I said, man, this is really cool. And she can really belt it out, and she can dance, and it's a good video. And then this new video, I put on another tape, a new tape. And then this one was where I explained a little bit earlier. There was a photo right at the beginning of the video, and that looks like Stevie. And then I looked at the corner, where they have the information, the band and everything, and it said Fleetwood Mac, Mirage, and Warner Brothers and whatnot. And I said, that's like confirmation. And I just sit back and wow, it's like, it's kind of like, for years, I kind of wanted to know. I had an interest in this band since the White Album era of Rihanna and everything. And sit back and enjoy it. And just watching Stevie and doing this lip sync and walking along that sidewalk in black and white and wearing that Depression era garb and that great vocal. That is such a great vocal. This was something that was just so cinematic and just unforced and natural, and it was that really the Stand Back was just like a different world, and this was like, wow, this we know from the past, we know that she did good songs, but this is elevated in a vocal. Dreams kind of just, and Rihanna's is this, but this is just that the vocal on this is amazing. And, all through the song. And let's see, and just just watching it all the way through, and and then you start seeing the band members, and I almost naturally picked out, well, this looks like a band member, and that's not an extra, that's a band member, not from really seeing these guys ever. And then they were kind of sitting in a group there at the end of the song. Well, that's Fleetwood Mac, that's the band. Oh, yeah. But they were like Lindsay and Stevie were doing the little dance thing, they hated each other, and then Chris and John were doing a little.
Love that.
And like Mick he just some real little bits here where he's sitting in the back of that truck, and then when he's kind of looking up, it's raining real hard. Looks up to the sky or appears up. That's a great moment in the video.
What's a great moment in the song is I Still See Your Bright Eyes.
Oh, yeah.
We all love that the most.
I love that.
Oh, that's just.
Sorry, Jim, I have to get in there. Go ahead.
Is that where she points?
Go ahead.
Okay. And what I thought was kind of cute, there was dropping glitter. Mm-hmm. And then she had some glitter in her hand, but she was spinning around, but she was holding her eyes tight.
What's up with that? I guess it got in her eyes, huh?
The glitter, they might have done a lot of, dry runs, and it was working very good. And they probably told her, close your eyes. Or that could have been just one clip. But,
the shot remains even after the glitter fades.
Watching the first time, those were like.
You shoehorned that one.
I can tell these were like pro dancers, but Stevie's up to that level. I mean, she has her own way about, and she ain't too shabby herself.
She knows a couple of moves. We all know that she's not a classic any kind of a trained
it's just sit back and enjoyed it and said, well, that's some confirmation.
What about Jim? May I, Jim?
Sure.
What about the cocaine on the set of the Gypsy filming it? Stop me when you all know this or remember it, but stop me when this jogs your memory. That the story is that she was trying really hard on the tour. I think it was about 3 days. I think memory serves, that they were filming this video and she was trying really hard to not use cocaine over that 3 days.
Yeah.
And on about day 1.5, she broke down and had somebody make a call.
I never heard that story before.
And had some couriered over. And so they tried, whatever, but I don't know what it just adds another layer of context to the video summary that Jim was just.
And wasn't this the most expensive video made at that time?
Yes, it was. Millions. When Stevie comes in that pouring rain, and she comes up that street and then comes out into where the cars drive the sidewalk, then she comes out basically in the street area and not slipping in the rain and all that, and just being that was a great. I don't know. Stevie's doesn't say she's an actress or anything, but that was a great little.
Nailed that one.
That was. She stops. She crosses her arms like this and it freezes into a photo.
Right.
That's a great moment there.
It's just when everything lines up right, and the director guided her along, and some of these things were natural, and it came, and her sitting on the floor, in the splits when the video starts, just so iconic.
The original concept behind all this, which we talked about on another Phonogenics episode, was that the whole idea was that the gypsy is the spirit who goes through time in and out of different settings and people's relationships, different time periods, travels through time to inspire love or make love happen or whatever else. And that's why we see them in the 40s and the Victorian era dancing in the bedroom and in the Great Depression and so on and so forth. There's 3 or 4 different little eras that they capture in that video. And then in the nether, in Wonderland, where they're all at the end on the cliff and with the little kids dancing around, right? So that was the original concept for this, which I think is worth mentioning.
There's a Xanadu connection.
There is maybe his energy connection. Go ahead. Sorry.
I feel like Lindsay's production on Gypsy is a little bit reminiscent of what he did with Sarah. How he has the really subtle harmonies, the really pretty guitar figures. Just another Lindsay Stevie collaboration that's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
My favorite ad lib in this song that she ever did live, second to "Hey Hey" with the Wave, is "Coming On Down Now."
Okay.
How much do y'all like "Coming On Down Now" from the Wild Heart tour? That was
okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Well, what can be said about Gypsy? Everyone loves it. Everyone knows it.
Yeah.
It's a masterpiece. I feel like this is now. I think Stevie Nicks has done great stuff since Gypsy. But I feel like this is the last song that's this kind of Stevie Nicks masterpiece.
Yeah.
I kind of put Gypsy with Sarah, with Dreams, with Landslide, with Rhiannon. And I don't know if anything else after this was quite as huge.
As Fleetwood Mac.
As anything Stevie Nicks did. Can you think of anything? I mean, Beauty and the Beast, of course, is beautiful, but that's a different kind of epic.
Well, there's the In Your Dreams album. That's pretty spectacular stuff, and even 24 Carats and pretty good stuff.
Yeah, but I just don't put it with Gypsy or Sarah level.
I would argue maybe that maybe not original material, but what about Landslide or Silver Springs from the Dance, or what was on Tank, Seven Wonders, maybe?
Seven Wonders.
Yeah, I don't put Seven Wonders. I don't put Seven Wonders with Gypsy, as far as like icon.
And she didn't really write Seven Wonders. Let's put it that way.
That's Sandy Stewart.
Yeah. I mean, the production's wonderful. I mean, the demo, if you hear the demo, some of it's kind of boring.
It's very like cock rock 80s.
Yeah. So, Lindsay definitely worked his magic on this song. He's talked about it. One of the best things he did for Stevie Nicks was do Gypsy.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what?
My favorite Fleetwood Mac song
of all time?
Yeah, Gypsy is number one for me. I think it's amazing.
And that McVie, you can hear her harmony just really low in the mix, and she adds such a great texture. Jim, you're dying to say something. What do you think? What do you want to say?
Me?
Oh, I thought you were gonna have something to say.
Yes. I'm talking about this is when her vocal was at her peak, the band was at their peak, and production was at their peak. I think the technology was getting better.
Yeah.
And things were getting and it's still kind of probably an analog. I think they still record. I think Lindsay likes to record on the old 24 track or whatever he does, because there's videos of it during the what is that Say You Will album. He's out there cutting tapes yet, splicing and whatnot. So but this is the best of the old world in music. Very cinematic and new technology, and someone that's of age, where I think someone in a review said all that touring and stuff kind of put a lot of grit and a lot of practice and a lot of, this wasn't someone that just coming up. This is someone's been there, and knows what to do, and just knows how to belt it. And, it's just, everything came together. It's just great lyrically. It conveys emotion, very cinematic. And the guitar outro on this was just
classic.
There's a drum beat at that outro that lasts for like maybe 45 seconds with its pretty much instruments, and they changed the chord, or they changed chords and everything. That is just something for the band. One of the best things they ever done. It was great up to that point, and then they outroed it, and sort of like it stays with you. That outro kind of puts it. Sometimes it just brings it to you, and you'll just remember that. And the video is probably one of the best MTV videos ever. I wouldn't put it like Thriller. I mean, it's way up there. So,
and this is the. Go ahead.
I'm curious if Jimmy Iovine took a step at this, what came of it. you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I bet he feels like a real dumbass, huh?
Roland, did you have something to say?
This is like sort of the last thing Stevie and the band did that was with organic sounding instruments, so to speak. By the Wild Heart, she was using synthesizers,
Right.
and Lindsay was too for his records. And then a Tango in the Night, of course, by 1987, it's very synthesized. But here's basic guitar, drums, and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
There's a synthesizer in it.
Lots of layers.
string.
Yeah, but it's more. I think it's more subtle than.
Yeah.
It's more of a
And the
accessory
jockey.
than a bass.
That's a keyboard.
Alicia, what do you think of Gypsy?
Well, I put it up there with the 5 songs she did with Tusk.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like a leftover from Tusk. I mean, and I mean that in a good way. It's very solid. It's one of her best songs. As far as you saying this is kind of the end of kind of what she was, and it makes me think, because we now know, looking back, when was it's almost like you could tell that Lindsay and Stevie always had that headbutting thing, but it seems like at this point forward, there wasn't any more willing to work together, if that makes any sense.
Was there ever Lindsay Stevie magic again, like there was on Gypsy?
Yeah, Say You Will doesn't really have that. So
I mean, I like Thrown Down, but it's no Gypsy as far as like production value.
And then Tango, Stevie was so messed up. So I mean, she was going through rehab and everything else.
Now, would you guys say the production on When I See You Again was a masterpiece? I'm just kidding. We're moving.
Please.
What's the matter, baby? Okay.
Matter, babe.
But I mean, I think it has something to do with that. It's just, between Stevie getting completely destroyed and wasted the second half of the 80s.
Right. So maybe this is the last Stevie Lindsay masterpiece that they really worked on together before they were bitter about working together.
Yes. And it kind of, and you can kind of see that, I guess, looking back and having that 2020.
Right.
It's the whole band on this.
Mm-hmm.
John.
I don't know. I like Twisted.
Oh, great song. Yes.
I like it. I feel like Twisted.
Yeah, it's not quite up to this height, but
no.
It's a good collaboration between the two of them, I thought.
Well, I mean, if we're doing that, I mean, Soldier's Angels was decent too. But
See, I don't view it as the end of the Stevie Great songs, but I look at it like a mountain. That's where it peaks.
That's
sure.
And you have equally good high songs like on the other side of the mountain too.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many Stevie songs that I love after Gypsy. I just feel like this is a song that could go into the greatest songs written of all time by anybody.
For sure. Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything after that would be in that, because I think Rhiannon would, Landslide would, Silver Springs would, Sarah.
I think one of the things that makes this song interesting is that it doesn't follow a traditional verse, bridge, chorus, whatever that traditional thing is. You know what I'm saying? It kind of breaks away from that a little bit. It
Right.
has its own sort of structure, which makes it cool.
Do you guys think that Jane was as good as Gypsy? Okay,
Yeah, of course.
I'm gonna stop. Okay, Gypsy. Any final thoughts before we move on? We all give it a thumbs up, right?
Yeah, of course.
10
Number
thumbs up.
1.
Steven's number 1 favorite Stevie Nicks song. What's your least favorite Stevie Nicks song? Now that we know your favorite.
Could be Whole Lot of Trouble.
Dun, 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 dun. When the snaps come in like kind of off beat, like
Yeah.
so bad.
Show 'Em the Way is not high. There's only there's 5 or 10 songs that really rub me wrong that it's in that group.
Okay, side 1 of the record ended with the Chrissy McVie song. She's out of her mind, and it's only over you. Well, this song was about Dennis Wilson. I'm thinking, right?
Yes, because that's special thanks for inspiration to Dennis Wilson.
Right.
Yeah.
We have Lindsay doing the doo-wop production vocals in the background, so there's more of the 50s thing. I don't have too much to say about the song. It's not one of my favorite McVie moments.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
okay.
But that's it.
In fact, I feel like the album is doing there's gonna be a whole string of like okay songs, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Does anyone have anything to say about Only Over You? I feel like the beginning's kind of annoying. Amor of a
I think it's perfect. I think it's one of Christine McVie's best songs. I think it's
really?
I was right there with yeah, absolutely. I remember last episode we were talking about Brown Eyes, which is frankly contrived and ineffective, and you all disagreed. I think this song hangs right with Brown Eyes and Oh Daddy as sort of a weird kind of creepy song, and yeah, I really enjoy this song. Only Over You is a great song.
Well, Jim.
Yeah, it's a very floaty, like lazy river song. Just goes, just kind of, atmospheric. It does fit on the album. It does harken to me. It harkens back to the pre-Buckingham Fleetwood Mac. And I wrote here that I just wonder what Bob Welsh would have done.
On this. He would have done a better job than Lindsay did with this one, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of lends itself to that era. That's some great stuff.
Jim, I never thought of that with this song. Wow.
Can you repeat that, Jim? I didn't get it.
This is it reminds me of the old Fleetwood Mac, when she was with Bob and.
Oh, I guess it does. Yeah, I guess you're right.
So, and I think all of her songs on this album kind of, especially the demos, that told me was like, that's Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's just the beginning. I just never liked there's like a little introduction. I think I might have liked
I never cared for it. I find it underwhelming, and I could have replaced it with Smile at You.
I feel like there's a lot of oohs and ahs, like oohs and ahs. This is just going on forever.
Roland, I love it when you're blind. I just absolutely love it. I'm like, thank you for saying that for me, buddy.
It's my least favorite. I mean, I love her other songs, but this one's just underwhelming for me. And especially coming after Gypsy. Maybe.
After Gypsy, I know.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to counterbalance, and
there you go.
Well, I give this one a sideways.
Sideways. Yeah.
Maybe closer to down.
Put some Bob Welsh on it. I would give it a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't remember this one either.
You don't remember this one? Let me refresh your memory. I'm mad, and it's only over you. Oh, Daddy.
That was lovely.
Okay, you flip over the album. Lindsey Buckingham's back. Do we need a bathroom break?
Yeah.
Okay. We're back, friends. We're back to talk about side 2 of Mirage, Fleetwood Mac. Yeah. Thanks to the Patreon subscribers and YouTube. I appreciate you all a lot. I really do. I'm glad I get to do this stuff. And thanks to my friends here for talking Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac song by song. It's pretty cool because no one else wants to talk to me about Empire State from Mirage. So Empire State, the first song on side 2, Lindsey Buckingham's back. I feel like these songs really set the template for the kind of music he did moving forward. Just that kind of like quirky production, the little guitar things. I grew up in New York State, in Western New York, so we liked Empire State. I remember my mom liked the song when the album came out. Big Apple, blah blah blah. What do you guys think of this song?
It sounds like a commercial for the I Love New York tourism campaign.
The story here.
So what propelled Buckingham to do Empire State? Because isn't he from California?
Right.
So what was his inspiration for it? That was what I was wanting to know.
There's a story behind it, allegedly. Fleetwood Mac did the song called The City. And
Mystery to Me.
Yes, it's very down on New York. because I think it was the story goes that Bob Welch's fiance was mugged in New York City,
Right.
and the band members were terrified to going out on the street, and allegedly it's an apology to New Yorkers and New York City in particular. You know, and that's alleged. I mean, it's third hand, and it makes sense, you know, because I read this the other day, and then I've been thinking about that for a long time. Is that Fleetwood Mac did this really downer about New York, and it's a great song. The Bob, I think, yeah, it's the Bob Welch number, and you know, it's like, should I even want to go there? You
Right.
know, Lindsay comes in with this really upbeat and making it's kind of like he's saying, I'm open to the experience in New York, and I want it to be really positive, and I don't want, you know, things, you know, and it's one of his experimental tracks.
Mm-hmm.
That one, that demo, it's on this package. It's really good. It's got a lot of, that vocal is really different and rough.
Yeah.
And, you know, some weird instrumental stuff in it. And, you know, this is like, you know, Lindsay and his mad scientist best, you know, and I wrote here that John McVie really plays really a good bass track on this.
He does.
And the whole album, John really does a good job. It's very stuff is there. It's the backbone, you know, with Mick, you know, as usual. But and that's about it. You know, it's a Lindsay track, and the story goes, there's a backstory to it that may or may not be true, but it makes sense that, you know, it's sort of saying, get off our back, New York.
Can you hear anyone singing on this besides Lindsay, or do you think it's just Lindsay overdubbing with himself? Because I feel like it sounds just like Lindsay.
You think it's like all
Sounds like himself only.
prominent? Is
Yeah.
it?
I'd have to go back and listen to it with my ear tune listening for that, you know, I can't quite right now.
I think it's a good song to open side 2 for this album.
Yeah.
I don't love it, but does anyone else have anything to say about Empire State?
It's upbeat. I mean, it reminds me of a Tusk stuff, but like something he would have done at home without Christine, without Stevie, without their voices in it. I don't hear them. I think it's only him.
I wonder what the relation is between this song and that photo shoot of them on top of the Empire State Building.
Okay.
Some connection there, right?
And it's interesting because I came into this album at 7 years old. So at the time, this might be the first Fleetwood Mac album that I really heard that was contemporary. And at the time, I didn't realize what an outlier it was for them to have a song about New York State. Because now looking back, I'm like, well, that's kind of a weird thing for them to write about. But, you know, I give it thumbs up, though. Whatever. Sideways up. What do you guys give?
It's so for me.
So.
Love that guitar on the end.
All right. Well, Stevie's back for. Oh, did I cut anybody off? No.
Yeah, there's some good licks on that end. Yes.
Yeah, there are. It's a good fade out.
It's a kind of an oddball song. You know, I don't know if it was forced or it's like we're gonna have to. Every time we go to New York, we get ragged on. Maybe
Right.
that's what you know. There was a concerted effort to say, "Hey, we'll just throw this out for just stay off our back."
Well, for the next song, Stevie's back one last time for the album, and I'm just gonna put out there that I don't think Straight Back is. I kind of put this song with The Nightmare. It's like the second song on side 2 that just goes on and on and on. It doesn't really have a great hook. The original mix that was on the album vinyl is different than what was on the CD. So that's a little collector's thing if anyone's listening. If you have the box set, both versions are on there. I think there's different background vocal overdubs between the two versions. But
the record, they took out her extra backing vocal to herself.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I like it, but it reminds me, it's kind of like a version of Sisters of the Moon. It's almost very similar musically.
I just feel it's like, it's kind of that classical Stevie thing. She had so many damn fucking good songs. Alicia, your hand is up.
Oh, well, I was going to let you finish, but to me, I like this song, but it's one of those, it's a good B or C grade song from Stevie. I mean, it's decent, but it's nothing to write home about. And what's the best part about it is all the backing vocals, much like what she did with Battle of the Dragon. It's stand back and kind of different. And she did that with a couple other songs.
On others, not.
I mean, it's Battle of the Dragon. I want to say she also did it.
Reading stuff like that.
Yeah, I was thinking of her last song off of Tusk. What is it?
Beautiful Child?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You know, and it's just, she takes that one line and she just kind of, there's like 8 of her you're hearing in the headphones, which is really cool. And I guess that's what sells this song.
There's a nice Christine harmony. You can hear Christine's harmony in there.
But it's good. And it's interesting because she's talking about trying to write another song. But being Stevie, she's using Ivy keys and things like that, which is a different. But it's, I don't know. I guess it depends on who you're talking to. I guess I would prefer something else.
See, I put it with the Nightmare. I put it with Nothing Ever Changes. Like this was like C grade Stevie songs. What else is in that list? There's
a little bit. Nothing Ever Changes. I agree with that.
Yeah,
I think the song starts amazing. It just doesn't go anywhere.
It doesn't go anywhere.
Like, I love the drum intro. I love the beat. I love the music. I love some of the lyrics, and then it just peters out.
Yeah, it doesn't quite fit. That's the problem, I think.
Have you heard the live version?
I didn't know they. Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like they're.
Yeah, it was on some kind of rehearsal tape, right?
Yeah. And it's still a mess, but the energy in the song, and it has a little bit of disco feeling thrown in there. It's really good.
Have you know she put this on side 2 of Wild Heart with like Nothing Ever Changes, Sable on Blonde, and then Straight Back? It just would have all gone together.
I wish they would have done. What gets me is the other 2 outtakes she had for this record, If You Were My Love and Smile at You, were so much stronger.
Oh my God, and that group in the version of If You Were My Love, this is already like the 4th version that they tried with this song. I love when the band comes and does their vocals. It's kind of like disco-y in a weird way.
Moment to moment.
Yeah.
At that, and I mean, man, those are too stellar. So it kills me how that's what they had, and that's what got thrown on the cutting room floor.
Because Smile at You, she was like ferocious on those vocals from this era.
Maybe that's why Stevie doesn't work with the group that well.
Okay.
Maybe she fought to get some of those other songs that she had more passion for on there, and they're like, no, we're just gonna put this on there. And after Silver Springs, and they keep doing this to her. I think they kind of pushed her around a little bit. That's my perception of it. I wasn't there, obviously. I don't know.
I mean, do you think she really fought for Straight Back to be on this album? I don't. I can't imagine.
No, but maybe she wanted one of those other songs.
We don't know that, but
they keep taking lesser songs first and putting them on.
Right, because didn't she say that Fleetwood Mac likes her witchy, spooky songs, kind of? And this does fit in that wheelhouse. But it's just,
That's very conceivable. What Dr. Larner there just described, I think that's very believable to me.
Yeah, maybe it's as simple as
that song. She's talked about it in 1 or 2 interviews before, I think, too. So
yeah, Nathan's correct. She said in an interview that the band didn't feel that this Smile at You fitted the record because it was too angry, it was too emotional, and apparently she agreed. So that's why they left it off.
Maybe that's true. I mean, this isn't an emotional
It didn't feel
album.
the vibe of the record. That's apparently there was consensus.
It sounds kind of a vibe all the way through. It kind of just stays like this. It doesn't have the peaks and valleys.
High passions, yeah. There was actually a version of this song, Straight Back, on one of the tribute Fleetwood Mac records where different artists sang their songs. There's a version by somebody called Washed Out. He does electronica music. The version is fantastic. It's actually better than this one. It's so
I'll check that out.
ethereal and floating in space. You know, it's fantastic.
Is that the one that has Marianne Faithfull on it also?
Yeah, doing Angel. She sounds like a man.
Marianne Faithfull. But she did a good job with Angel. I like Marianne's version of Angel.
Yeah, but the washed out version of Straight Back is fantastic.
It's really good.
It's better than the Mirage one.
Yeah, it's really good.
Jim, are you sitting on hot intel up there?
A what?
You have some hot intel on this song?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I saw him twitching. I was like,
"Oh, Jim, take it away, Jim."
First, I'm going to kind of describe the track. To be honest, you know, Blue Lamp could have fit. Just throw Blue Lamp in there.
Yeah.
Interesting. Or Smile at You. What Smile at You is not a good fit. Or If You Were My Love probably would have been a better fit and a better song here.
Blue Lamp is a great idea.
I can hear Blue Lamp on this album, but it was already out as a B-side though, right? Or the soundtrack song.
Yeah, Straight Back is not a bad song, but it doesn't up the ante.
Mm-hmm.
See, it's like you're used to Rhiannon and then Dreams, and you go Gold Dust and Sarah and the Tough Material, and this doesn't up the ante lyrically, musically. The whole, it's just kind of like another. It's, you know, it doesn't rise up to that.
Is this the first? Is this the first released Stevie song from her beginning?
What?
Is this the first Stevie song that's like from everything she's released up to this point?
This is kind of like the first time you say that's just very ordinary.
Unless you count Fireflies. I didn't think Fireflies was like the best thing ever.
I love Fireflies.
There's a lot of things in here that are very on brand that people really love about this song. I think we're all saying kind of there's something about the way it's put together and the words are too maybe literal that it just doesn't quite work 100%. But people love this song. I don't think it's a mediocre or a throwaway. You can say Straight Back throwaway.
Nathan, this song is a mediocre throwaway. I'm sorry to break the news to you.
It's
all right.
I think the cover was getting bare.
Yeah, the cover.
I'd take it over any Lindsay song on this album.
Too bad she didn't have one more big time rock and roll star in her pocket.
And like Tango the cover.
Fucking masterpiece.
I love that song.
I do too. You guys heard me sing it.
I love that song.
Don't make me sing the bridge. We're not going to go back to that.
Do it.
You're going to have to watch the Rock a Little podcast for that. Because I already treated you all to that. Straight Back can go straight back into the vault. I think it's Stevie Nicks on autopilot.
Okay.
Right, you're below me now.
Jim, go ahead.
Yes, there's a story that the lyrics are she says about the dream, and the dream says and some people say that the dream is like her solo career, and then there was kind of like Meeting with You. That was maybe referring to Jimmy Iovine. And I wrote here, the backstory is more interesting than the song, you know.
Yep. And that's one of the reasons why I think Stephen's little scenario earlier is so believable, is because this was really relevant for her, having to go straight back to the band after having done her solo thing. It was so relevant, so salient for her, that I bet she did fight to get it on this record over other things. And they just couldn't push her around like they did 5 or 6 years before.
I think it was a dig at maybe some members like me, Lindsay or Mick or something. You know, there might have been a dig. This is a dig. Stevie's putting a dig in at them on this song. Not a very good song to put a dig in on, but, you know, that's what it's there for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Well, Straight Back, I'm going to give it a sideways.
I like it.
I'm going to go slightly down. After all this great material over the years, and then you kind of, it's just ordinary.
It's just cookie dough. It needs to be finished.
Yeah.
Like, if she should revisit this song. I would love to see this live over everything she's doing on stage right now.
You know what song she recorded?
I think live.
Do you know what demo was like straight back? But then when she revisited it and it was awesome, was the song 24 Karat Gold. I thought the demo just rambled on and on. But when she revisited for the album,
Yeah.
they kind of added a chorus and they really added some magic to it. So maybe that could happen to this song.
A lot of
For
24
sure.
is from this era, so one of those 24 carats would have been fine here.
Yeah.
Lost a couple of those carrots. It was cookie dough. It's cookie dough. I agree with Steven's summation there.
Definitely some vocals that kind of anticipated where she'd go with Wild Heart, I feel like. All right. Moving on.
Yeah.
Lindsay's back.
No, that's Christine. Hold me.
Is it Holman?
Oh, it is? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I can't see. Hold Me, the first single from the album. The original demo was a little bit more Christine McVie-ish, but then Lindsay did his Lindsay thing, and it's another one of the songs where Lindsay and Christine sing together, like Don't Stop, World Turning, Think About Me. They do have some magic together. Hold Me is a great single. I love it.
Love it. Love it.
I think it brings Fleetwood Mac into the 80s. It really does.
Do you guys even hear Stevie Nicks on this track? I don't.
No.
Even though she's very prominent in the demo, they mixed her out of the demo. They didn't include her.
Yeah,
I
she's
feel
not.
like I hear her on the chorus in the background. No, am I tripping?
I don't.
Maybe she might just be way back there.
Way back there. Yeah.
It'd be wishful hearing.
But a lot of those 70s bands really struggled to go into the 80s. And I think this is a song. This was the first single from the album. This song is a song that carried Fleetwood Mac into the 80s.
Yeah.
And then Gypsy, of course, continued it. I don't have tons to say about the song, but it's wonderful. Classic Christine McVie.
Great
Oh,
song.
Stevie in the video. Oh, so beautiful.
This is when they're in the desert, right? They're all in the desert.
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the
she's posing on the Shays Lounge. Yeah.
It's just so beautiful.
I will say it was really cool when Buckingham McVie did their tour a couple years ago and they did the song live. You know,
Yeah.
Of course, Christine's voice is a little rough these days, but
I really enjoy that thing on the chorus when the chorus kind of hold me, hold me, hold me, and then Mick does something back there that's like don't. You all know what I'm talking about?
oh yeah,
I really enjoy that part. I enjoy that. I also like the story about the alcohol in the desert. Apparently, John McVie was drunk at 10 a.m. and
that is no shock there.
I'm surprised that it was such a big hit, but they just, after 82, they didn't do it again until I think the Buckingham McVie tour. And then Fleetwood Mac did it. But, it was a forgotten song for a very long time.
And it was such a huge hit. Why do you think they didn't do it?
Probably hard.
I like to know why it's not on the Mirage tour video. That was like, the big single.
Jim,
They just can't do it live.
it's a studio song, right? Just like Sarah. in most cases.
The layering and the where Christine and Lindsay are singing that harmony, they can't reproduce that live. That the demo version, if they had enough guts, that demo version would have transferred live better than this. This is a terrific pop song, just harmonies, guitar work. The piano is so iconic.
Oh, it's so good. It's mixed. It's mixed interestingly too.
That intro, it's just because you've heard her playing for for 8 years prior or more. That's it's just adds another brick to that foundation.
Isn't the piano mixed all into one ear when you're listening with headphones, or am I imagining things?
Oh,
I could be wrong.
it could. I think it might go side to. Yeah, that's just a great riff.
It was a good choice for the first single.
Yeah.
And the lyrics are great. It's a very cheeky lyrical song. There's some innuendo in there, and that slipping in the glove thing.
Mhm.
All right.
No more undoing the laces. They got the hand in the glove now, baby.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Did anyone see the Buckingham McVie tour?
Oh,
I saw him twice. Oh, I loved it. It was such a pleasure.
our clips, they were very tight.
Yeah, it was amazing. I love that album. I want to do a Phonogenics of that album someday if you guys will do it.
I'd have to study up on it.
It's the thing is, I wish the All Fire would just get. They just blew that chance.
Yeah, because so many songs sound like Stevie singing on it because Lindsay manipulated his voice to sound like Stevie. So you just wish she was actually on the songs.
Yeah,
you can hear where she would have fit in.
There's so much. There's so much division personally and creativity that just. There was that
tragedy.
When Christine came back, there was just that. There was a large window, actually, opportunity that they could.
It's a true tragedy that didn't happen. Okay,
at least because I think they might have had 2 solid records in them.
Yeah.
Because bring that 2000s era, bring the modernness to their.
We could have a Fleetwood Mac mix to show them the way. Hey, hold me. Thumbs up. Does anyone else have anything to want to say about this song? Did I skip anybody?
I got a story, of course.
Go ahead, Jim, and then Alicia. I'm interested to hear what you had to say.
Yeah, it's a little shorter, I think. That's
what she said.
It's like you stand back and mix with videos, and then you use a Gypsy, and okay, that's a Fleetwood Mac. And it was really cool when I first saw this, when Christine crumpled up that paper and tossed it aside in disgust. And it's like, I know this girl. I've heard her for a long time, and I get it. I understand it was just like, it was, hey, here's someone I was like idolized in a way. And here she is, and she's in an MTV video, and it's a very good video. It's very it's kind of like you're digging for musical treasure. That's the kind of the theme of it. Dusting off the piano keys and all these guitars laying out on the sand. And then John coming, I think he was probably drunk. I think that was John crawling down the bank and getting up and looking at guitars, and and Mick being just, holding things up and grinning, and it was just and then the thing is, I kind of wonder if I saw this before Stand Back and Gypsy, what I would have thought, because I kind of knew them. I didn't know their faces and stuff, but the thing is, I probably would have saw it the same way, where Chris is throwing that crumbling up the paper, and then there's this lady in red, and there's 2 female singers in this band. I just kind of like, no, and it's like she's not singing here or doing much of anything, just kind of laying around and just posing and doing a little paint and a little this and that. But I think I probably would have, if that was the first video of them I ever saw, I think I would have saw her, and I would have said, well, that's that other singer. And I probably would have labeled her as like the witch.
Oh,
because I kind of went through like a mind and thought that through. And what if I saw Hold Me first? My fandom might have been a little bit different. I would have been, and then if I saw Stand Back or Gypsy after that, what would I, how I accepted things or understood things or developed like a fandom. Because I had a fandom of some sort, but would have been a little different, or would have been just crazier, or would have been more subdued or more cerebral. But
and this was the video that introduced them to the MTV generation.
Oh yeah, that was their first.
Yep, this is their first major video.
It was like the second of them I saw.
Yeah,
really good video. It's up there.
Do we all give Hold Me a thumbs up?
Yeah, it's iconic. It's just a great track.
Alicia, I'm interested in hearing what you had to say really quick before we move on.
Well, while Jim was talking, it made me think, why did they do the desert? Was it to capitalize on the album's name of Mirage?
Okay.
Sure.
Good point.
And if that's the case, and it was the first single, it was making me think about the piano that they did have in there. It would have almost, even though Stand Back wasn't great, that would have worked to kind of kept that desert theme and then do that. And then with Gypsy, because she was talking about the Gypsy throughout the decades, if they didn't have like a little segment in the desert and added that somewhere in there. And I was just thinking like marketing strategy. Well,
they could have been on brand a little bit more with the theme, right?
So I don't know. That was Homemade's probably one of the highlights of the record. It's a good. It's Christine being Christine. It's a good song.
I think it's a tie with Gypsy in certain aspects. It's actually charted higher.
I feel like it's Christine being as good Christine as Gypsy is Stevie being good Stevie.
Yeah. It without them two songs, it's really been a downer.
Speaking of downers, let's move on to the next song.
Yeah. Okay.
Lindsey Buckingham's back with the 50s shit. Oh, Diane. Oh, Diane.
No.
This would have gone.
I'm very surprised this was a hit in Britain. Why?
Well, was it?
It was. It was like top 20 or something like that. They even did like a little video for some
Love is like a grain of sand.
Was it because of Princess Diana?
Oh, maybe Princess Diana.
Oh,
I was just curious because I'm thinking, oh, Diane, and I'm wondering if
that could be subliminal.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking here. Just go ahead.
Steven, did you have something?
Me?
I thought Steven was going to say something. No. Jim.
Okay. Yes, it was on the. It was number 9 on the British charts. I think they kind of. It's kind of I read somewhere that a band sounded like this song and it was very popular, and this wasn't just, I think was just like an accident that, this emulated some of the things that were going on in Britain at that time.
Yeah.
And there's you ever see that lip sync video of them doing at the top of the Pops?
Yeah.
Yeah, Alicia was just talking about, yeah.
I mean, Stevie was there, doing a little, but
tambourine.
It didn't really show there that she really rather be in another place. But I think you can tell she would rather be doing Edge to 17 somewhere or some other thing.
She did not want to be there doing lip syncing. Oh, Diane.
But she steals the show, and that has to piss them off.
What?
She does. You're just captivated by her.
You're drawn to her.
Playing her tambourine.
Let's see.
She was thinking of starting the Wild Heart record.
Yeah, she was writing Gate and Garden in her head.
It's a good little retro pop.
Fantastic about Tommy Petty in her head.
This is retro pop, but I'm not even I'm not a big 50s person. Like, I don't love 50s retro. The only 50s retro I like is Josie Cotton. I don't know if anyone knows her, but I love her.
But if you do like it, this song might really appeal to you.
Yeah. Whoa, whoa, Diane.
I like the song, and I like the Love is Like a Grain of Sand, which, to Alicia's point a moment ago, I think hangs very well with the Mirage video.
Yes, it does.
Concept. Love is like a grain.
Lindsay's vocal on this is really good. I'm
gonna say this just for Nathan. I think this would have fit right on Law and Order. Also.
Thing.
Oh, Diane, I give it sideways.
That fits better on Law and Order than that other one you were talking about.
I don't skip this song, but I don't love it. I don't hate it. I don't think it's like the worst thing I've ever heard. I like it better than It's Not That Funny.
Mirage,
Better than Empire State for me.
Okay, I can agree with that. Does anyone else have anything else to say about Oh, Diane?
It's okay-ish.
I'll give it a sideways.
It's
Love is like a grain of sand.
It's more because it charted
In England.
It started. It kind of kept there. There was that gap there where after I don't think Tess did well in England. I could be wrong, but I don't think Tess the song did well over there.
And they never really did the song in concert, did they? That much?
No, never. No.
Which leads
they gave Lindsay a single because he didn't have any other singles.
Yeah. Which brings us to the next song, which they did do in concert in the Mirage video, because you have Christine singing the little. I think it sounded better on the album version with Lindsay doing that part, but it's the live version. And that's when Fleetwood Mac really was just Fleetwood Mac. It was only them on stage without 8,000 auxiliary players. But I like Eyes of the World. That's one of my favorite Lindsay songs. I think it's classic Lindsay.
The live version on the Say You Will tour is good. It's really good. It had a lot of punch to it, and more punch to it.
And didn't they do it again more recently than that even?
Yeah, they did like the 2000s, I think.
Was it 2000? Was it 14, 16? Well, I seen it live.
Yeah, the Unleashed tour, whatever they were calling it back then.
I love the back screen where Lindsay's kind of sitting around making faces, and when the song ends, Lindsay gets up from a chair on the video. It's kind of cool. It's like he sit down to make these faces and do some production, and then at the end they show him just getting up off the chair at the end of the song.
I think it could have been a hit. I do think it could have been a hit. What do you guys think? No?
Yeah,
they should have released it as a single.
Maybe his best song off of the record.
It's definitely his best song off the record.
Best song off the record, huh?
His best song. Not best song off the record. I think it's his best, though.
For sure. Song on Rumors that it's most like? Is it most like Don't Stop Thinking About Tomorrow, for example?
This song?
Yeah. I feel like they really tried to copy Rumors, right? And so...
I think Secondhand News. It's his Secondhand News.
Not the chain, but it's that same kind of I don't know. You guys understand.
Did Lindsay write this song? Or is it a cover?
He wrote it.
It says Lindsay.
I like this. I think it's my second favorite Lindsay Fleetwood Mac song.
Really? Cool.
They're high up there, yeah.
You know, at the time, it grew on me through the years. Like at the time, I didn't look at it as a standout, like back in the 80s. But as time has gone on, it's a song that I've really gone back to and listened to more than some of the others.
Like Monday's Children and Tuesday's Children. That's my favorite.
Oh, what's that mean?
What does that mean, Jim? I don't know.
It's from a nursery rhyme.
Is it? Oh, yeah, I think I read that. But, what's being there?
I love that image of Stevie dancing, too. From the live concert video of this song.
Yeah. Their harmonies are great in this song. The layers of harmonies are amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a good little snappy track. I think it has a lot of feel of like Holiday Road to it.
It does. I agree.
Yeah, and it's great live. Just terrific. Stevie's in. Chris is into it. They play well on it. It's great live.
And I think
it's got a lot of energy live. It's a good little rip through.
I almost feel like it's one of
song sample in it.
Nothing. I don't think.
Yeah, it's a classical. It's a classical piece.
It is.
Bum 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 bum
okay.
bum bum.
I'll listen to classical. So.
What are you talking about?
It's a pretty big piece. Who did I talk over? I'm sorry.
Well, I was gonna say I feel like Lindsay took like his kind of aesthetic with some of his Tusk songs, like I Know I'm Not Wrong, and this is a better produced version of some of that aesthetic, like that kind of energy. It's a little bit more fleshed out version of one of those kind of songs.
Yeah,
I love it. 2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up for me.
Yeah, it's more like his efforts on the White and the Rumors album. It's more up in that, elevate that category.
But still a hint of the 80s. There's still a hint of 80s in there, I feel like. Which was good.
It's a good, and I love the guitar work on it.
All right, well, we have anything else for Eyes of the World?
Like it.
We have one song left. Christy McVie's back. Now I do have a friend whose brother took his own life, and she said this song is a song that she thought of with his brother, which I think is very touching. So I just want to share that story. But I think this song is terrible. Wish You Were Here by Christy McVie. Ugh. She does take the riff at the beginning and uses that in Silver Springs on the dance. Did anyone else notice that?
Good point. See that again?
The intro to Wish You Were Here, she co-opted it for the live version of Silver Springs on the dance. Did you ever notice that?
What is this song again?
Wish you were here with me tonight.
I must have skipped.
I just think it's sappy and I don't like it. But I think what Jim said earlier, if Bob Welsh produced it, it could have been like Come a Little Closer from Heroes Are Hard to Find.
Oh, you guys were all on board for Honey High just a few weeks ago when we talked, and now you're going to have a problem with Wish You Were Here.
Nathan, I wasn't on board for Honey High. I was like saying it's the best thing that ever happened in my life. Daddy, daddy, daddy. Okay, let's save this podcast. Alicia, do you have any thoughts on Wish You Were Here?
It fits with the record. I'm trying to be positive here. I mean, it's a nice song. I mean, but it wasn't anything that ooh-awed wow me. Let's put it that way.
And Christine has some really beautiful closing songs. You know, Songbird didn't close Rumors, but it could have. The song Why from Mysteries to Me was a classic closing track. So I just think she missed the mark with this one. Even like Never Forget Tonight. And it's interesting that just like Tusk, Mirage opened and closed with a Christine song. But unlike Tusk,
I like the song.
You like it? Okay.
I like it. Actually, the demo version on this is actually a little stronger. It's very orchestral on this the demo one.
Okay.
That may be version I like. I don't know. I feel like they almost like didn't flesh out all the songs, or they didn't take the risk.
It's just kind of cheesy, I feel like, the song.
Good observation.
It does seem a little rushed and tentative. Jim, you got something to say?
Yeah, it's more like the pre-Buckingham Nicks era. It's pretty good. It's a good ending song on an album that has a lot of loneliness and despair to it. And I think I need to play this a little bit more. This is really this is the old Mac to me, and I remember and I wrote here, this is just pure Chris, you know. This is her, you know, this is her heart, you know.
Yeah.
And this is what she is. I remember playing this, you know, I played the Mirage album, just played it front to back. And when this ended, I felt really down because I think this was the last album I had of all that collection. I think I got Rumors, the White Album, and even Buckingham Nicks before this. And but there's no new albums I'm interested in to play. Be sad and down. And it's like I'm kind of waiting for Stevie to do another record, or you know, or something. This is kind of like it was unexpected. It was I'm at the edge of this cliff, and I just where to go from here, other than play it again. There's no new thing to discover.
Right.
These guys. I felt kind of, you know, just unexpectedly down.
Doesn't it make you sad that 40 years later they only did one more album with the 5 of them? Doesn't that bum me out?
Yes. I mean, I wish they would have done, you know, the Eagles are the same way. They should have done a good half dozen more. You know, I think they had it in them, but that would have hurt Stevie's career, which is terrific. And You can borrow from one,
Yeah.
And but I mean, I'm disappointed that when Chris came back, that should have been, they should have just sucked. There should have been certain members that sucked. I got some stuff for Fleetwood Mac, and let's go. And then
Right.
should have made something shiny and poppy, and
by certain members, you mean Stevie Nicks, right?
base.
That sounds like it was the general.
Yeah, and it's
implication.
and that's and Mick and Lindsay have made up, and Chris is kind of hemming and hawing about, and she talked about John being, not what he was. So, and she's not what she was, and
Yeah, she said she has a lot of back pain.
Yes.
All right, so wish you were here. I give it a thumbs down. I'm sorry, I do.
Big thumbs up.
it's good.
It's a terrific album closer. It's down tempo. It's what you need. You're sitting back. It's the end of. It's 4:37 a.m. It's like the end of the long, whatever you've been a long.
Yeah, and there's rain on your window.
Is it like the Lady Antebellum? I'm drunk and that one. What's the name of that? It's you said.
I Need You Now.
Need You Now.
No,
Yeah.
it's not like that at all.
That's Lady A, by the way. All right.
Okay.
Are they called Lady A now?
I like
Yeah,
that.
they are.
I
It's
like
like the Chicks. No more Dixie Chicks.
Hey, the Chicks were great at Bonnaroo.
Oh, wonderful. Awesome. Okay, Mirage. Does anyone have anything? Did I cut off anybody? Does anyone have anything they want to add before we do the rating?
I would just like to have 5 minutes of closing thoughts with the group after.
Oh, yeah, we can do that.
After Phonogenics concludes.
Steven, did you have something to say?
Oh, I just wanted to say it's a bummer to me because Gypsy is my favorite Fleetwood Mac song. It's a bummer to me that there's no definitive great live version of that song.
There really isn't.
There's not. It's terrible live. Like there's little pieces of it that capture in different times, but never the whole.
Remember on the dance?
Full performance. It's just not there.
Like on the dance, it was on the video, but not on the album. And I remember that she sang like the chorus a little bit different. So I'm like, when I saw them live for the first time, I'm like, I can sing it like she does on the dance. There really is not a definitive version, though.
I remember she blew the high note too when I saw the dance live in Detroit. Like it just, I don't know what came out of her mouth. Just she hit it. And I was like hoping nobody noticed. And I looked over at my brother and he just had this big grin on his face. Like,
oh,
do that.
Okay.
So,
Mirage.
harmonies.
Mirage by Fleetwood Mac. On a scale of 1 to 10. On a scale of Jane to Rhiannon.
How many decimal places can we go out? Like
On a scale of Oh Diane to Go Your Own Way. On a scale of Honey High to I Wish You Were Here. Okay, scale of 1 to 10. Roland, you're in my top left. What do you give?
10.
Mirage?
10. Not my. And I don't love it as much as Tusk, but I still love it. Still 10.
Shit. Steven.
Maybe a 7 for overall, but it's got that one killer track on it.
Yeah.
Oh, and Christine, it's got some good tracks, but there's a lot of weak stuff. I have to go with the 7, to be honest.
Some good tracks.
Nathan Bravo. What do you give this song? Or album?
Give it an 8.
An 8. A solid 8. Alicia.
I was hoping you were going to choose me last.
Oh, I always do choose you last. We got to wait. Jim.
Okay, I'll give it a 9.3, and mostly because of the production and the sound.
You're too generous, Jim.
Okay, it's the production and the sonic sound of it being a cohesive unit.
It does have a vibe from beginning to end. I will admit that.
I mean, I'm not the biggest Lindsay fan in the world, but he really put a lot of stamp on this.
We're going to get our asses ripped on the ledge once they watch this.
Okay.
But hey,
Alicia. last but not least, Mirage.
If they're gonna rip you, I feel like this is the worst record so far. But I guess that's just me.
Apples, oranges.
Cool.
Yeah, I was thinking like a 5 or a 6.
Oh,
Awesome.
ooh, girl.
My reasoning behind it is I feel like the last 3 records, they went in and were willing to try something different or make something new of themselves.
Right.
They were pushing their art forward. Whereas this record, it was because Tusk was didn't sell like they wanted to, and the record label didn't make their money.
They're treading water a little bit.
Yeah, it's almost like they went in and told Buckingham, okay, we're going to make a record, but we're going to make commercials. So forget all your art. And so I feel like Buckingham did what he could to make this a good record, but it doesn't have that little extra something, which you see it in Tango because he starts doing all the different stuff with synthesizers and that's kind of what makes Tango interesting.
Right.
He starts
and awesome also.
Yeah, he also does the vocal manipulations. But I mean, this is that record where they try to go back and capture.
Yes, go back. Can't go back.
It kind of falls flat because of it.
Well, I would argue. Oh, sorry. Keep going, Alicia. I'm sorry.
So, I mean, there is a couple really good songs. And when I say really, I mean, Gypsy is fantastic. Hold Me is great. Eyes of the World is Lindsay's good song off of this record.
Love in Store is another highlight, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I mean, the rest of the record, it's
Well, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I forgot 3 of the songs.
Well, I would argue that this is not a case of apples and oranges. I think this is a case of we just had a lot of filet mignon, and they gave us chopped steak this time. We got Salisbury steak this time around.
Yeah, and this
You got to rate it on a Fleetwood Mac.
Serving us filet mignon, they served us a steak tour. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and they tried to make it go back and be like, I take Alicia's point. I think she's absolutely right. This is the first time they went and consciously tried to not stick to a formula or adhere to a formula, but consider a formula to a greater extent than they ever had before in their making of this particular.
And to the bane of the band, they weren't necessarily happy about it, and it shows.
Yeah,
all right.
Alicia, I'm trying to give you an amen here. Can I get an amen?
Amen. Okay. But it's so that's why this just didn't sit for me, I think, and so that's why it's so low. It's just on my end, but I mean, it has
Gypsy, right?
Yeah, it has.
It has Gypsy. Well, I'm gonna have to go ahead for my Phonogenics rating of Fleetwood Mac Mirage. I think I'm gonna agree with Steven and give it a 7. Or no, who gave it a 7? Somebody gave it a 7.
I think it was me.
Yeah, it was Steven, right?
Alicia gave it a 5 or 6.
Yeah, I give it a 7. It had Gypsy, it had Love in Store.
It's a good song.
But yep. All right. Well, we were just as excited about Mirage as Fleetwood Mac themselves were by reading their liner notes. Didn't Christine McVie say, like, I don't remember anything about this album? It was pleasant. It was fine.
The band hasn't spoken well. I mean, Christine and Lindsay haven't spoken well about this record. There was backtracking, and it was they weren't. There was no passion. That's what they said. There was lack of passion in making this record.
So the cons were there was a lack of passion. The pros were it did make them hits in the 80s.
The record went to #1 for 5 weeks, so that's a plus there.
All right, Jim, we're gonna do something quick, then we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay. There's, I think Caroline Harris said that they would sit down at their meals, and there wasn't a word spoken. They were that far. But
That's
I mean,
right.
they can still go out there and mix and do professional stuff. But as a group, as a family, I mean, the dance was real, and they kind
That
of
was
like,
real.
yeah, they got back together, and and then it got worse again because there's the interband dynamics.
Of Destiny Rules.
Yeah.
Alicia.
And so.
Go ahead, Jim. I'm not trying to cut you off.
No, I'm done.
Okay. My question is since they spent so much money going to the chateau in France to make this record, what did going to the chateau actually bring to this record? I mean,
can I get
it was a tax write-off for Mick.
Yes. Yeah. There's some tax.
Yeah, that's why they went to France, because for immigration taxation reasons, Mick.
That is so Mick Fleetwood.
That's Roland's phone. I know that's Roland's phone. I think it had to do with the fact that they wanted to take them away and out of their element and away from their little entourages.
Yeah,
probably.
With Rumors. It's more in the vein of trying to recreate Rumors consciously, with consider a formula greater than they had before. That's why they took them away, just like they did when they went up to the record plant in Sausalito.
Do you think Ken Calliot will do a book about Mirage or no?
Yeah, the record's not popular enough in the general sense. I doubt it.
Okay.
But the Tusk book is good with Hernan Rojas and Ken Kelly. That's a good book because it's from especially the Rojas information about him dating Stevie Nicks.
I did feel like it was a little misogynistic, like the way they're talking about women in that book. But that's a conversation for
the 70s.
Yeah, it was the 70s. Okay. Any parting thoughts before we move on to Mirage? Sorry, I keep things moving, but my face hurts a little bit, you guys. I apologize.
Thanks, Jeremy.
If I didn't do as good as I normally do, give me a free pass, just like we did for some of these songs on Mirage.
Breathing too hard on yourself.
All right. We're still going to chat for a moment after we hit pause, but much love to my friends here, to all the viewers, to everyone on the ledge. I love reading what people have to say after we post these videos, so those are discussions I enjoy. And we will see you for the next Fleetwood Mac episode where we tackle Tingle in the Night. What's the matter, baby? All right. Bye. We forgot to mention the damn B-side Cool Water.
This is a terrible song.
Joni Mitchell did a version of that on Chalk Mark and a Rainstorm with Willie Nelson. That's all I'm going to say.